Yo everybody, what's going on? This is Keegan from Kman Reviews. If you enjoyed this review, make sure you hit that like and the subscribe button. And if you have any opinions at all that you would like to share, make sure to leave them down in the comment section. Andrew Allen, 1234. Andrew Allen is a Canadian singer, songwriter, certainly one of the lesser known hitmakers here in Canada. Though that still hasn't stopped him from releasing some pretty damn successful and catchy pop music like the now 12-year-old smash Loving You Tonight and the stomper that is What You Wanted, along with performing alongside some massive names such as Carly Rae Jepsen, the Bare Naked Ladies, One Republic, and even Bruno Mars. Yet despite a lot of commercial success and attention, he rarely seemed to indulge in the album process, with his first being the Living Room Sessions in 2008, and it taking 12 years for a follow-up with the release of The Writing Room in 2020. But now it seems like he's starting to get back in the swing of releasing new music and new albums. Thankfully, we didn't have to wait another 12 years for that follow-up since we got it right here, Andrew's third album, 1234. Andrew stated this is a full, cohesive album with a loose concept simply about losing love and finding love and all the little pieces in between, as he states how he went through a roller coaster of emotions during this album's creation. So I was very excited to see how well this album was tied together. So let's just dive right in. What are my thoughts on 1234? Let's find out as I review it track by track. We will start with the singles, with there being 6 of them. The first one being the opener, Don't Feel Much, which opens up with a soul piano melody, giving me a false impression that the album is going to open up with a piano ballad, but that doesn't last for too long as the spare, plucky, and sweet guitar lick introduces itself to kick off the album, really highlighting Andrew's feathery and delicate voice, a much lighter timbre for pop music than you would expect. After a bit, the piano returns to enhance the guitar, as the chorus comes in with some impactful bass punches, perky beeping synths, and a brief drop segment with a pitched vocal riff filling in for the typical synth melody. It's not the most lush, exciting, or downright impressive way to open an album, but it's got a catchy melody and is just light enough to be a fun vibe, although the bridge with the sudden hopelessness pushed by the piano is a very nice touch, and only reinforces the lyrical content, which kicks off the concept, starting off as Andrew seems to be struggling with his mental health in this state of numbness and wishing for someone to just listen to him and help him get this weight off his chest. Pretty great opener. The second single, Wanted, is an even more minimal pop jam than Don't Feel Much, but honestly, this is the kind of pop where Andrew excels. The instrumental is light, easygoing, but extremely comforting with the soft plucking guitar, serving as a bulk of the melody here, especially on the opening half, which is the perfect pairing for Andrew's voice. Very intimate and gentle performance. The instrumental builds up a little bit with a synthesized atmosphere, some solid slaps of the percussion, allowing Andrew the breathing room to expand a bit more vocally, and is done so very tastefully. Also, this track has another heartwarming and serene bridge led with the piano before dissipating into a spare, heavenly ambience. It's such a soothing moment in the song. Lyrically, I know talking about these singles is negating the progression of the album's concept, but this one seems to transpire well after the opener, about how this person finally makes him feel wanted, a feeling he hadn't truly felt in a while. Another great song. The third single, Homeless, doesn't leave the most memorable impact on first glance other than a steady, sandy rattle in the percussion, but aside from that, there's pretty standard synths hanging in the background along with some added snaps as Andrew's vocals stick to that same tame register. It's pretty decent at the end of the day, but I think what really helps this song a lot is the chorus, and most notably, the melody. I adore this pulsating synth that perfectly plays off the vocals, 3 jolts of synths that sync up with Andrew's voice, briefly cut out appropriately, and continue again for the next vocal line. It may be a little thing at the end, but when it gets paired with the bass, the drums, this small metal rattling, which might be a tambourine, but maybe it's also some kind of shaker, I don't really know. But all of that together help this chorus be arguably one of the best on the entire album. Lyrically, it's about trying to recover from this heartbreak and eventually falling in love for real, and it's stronger than the past attempt. As a whole, though, this one is the weakest in my opinion so far, but like I said, it definitely has its moments, and those really help it from just being another forgettable pop song, so I think it's good. The fourth single, My Friends, featuring Josh Bogert, is a pretty chill song at its core, but honestly, this one really didn't work for me too much. Much like Homeless, though, this one certainly had its moments, like the stomping, joyous beat, the layered, uplifting harmonies for the chorus, and Andrew certainly puts a bit more power to his vocals than the other tracks here, and Josh Bogert also has a really nice voice, but if I'm being honest, this one, at least in terms of lyrical content, almost reminds me of like an AJR song, which, if you know me, you know AJR's never clicked with me in terms of their lyrics. To be fair though, if AJR did write this song, it would probably be one of the best songs they've done. Just simply about how your friends don't really care if you're rich and successful, always there as a little bit of extra support. But there are a few lyrical quirks here that just don't really work. Like how Josh completely tarnishes his verse on the first line, saying, I found me a piano, 4 chords in, and it wasn't Despacito. Or Andrew ending his verse with, before I knew it, I was 10 feet tall, out on the court playing basketball, but I don't play sports at all. Yeah, I'll be honest, after sitting with this one a few times, did not work for me. This is a pass. The fifth single, Linger, which seems to be getting the biggest push as the big single, and I completely understand why because this song is so well done. Honestly, one of my favorites on the album too. It opens up with yet another light pop melody, but this one is just so wavy and smooth and carefree, especially on the verses, as it's fitting to Andrew's voice and the content about just getting lost in the moment, preferring to let these feelings linger rather than to just go quick and get it over with. The chorus has a punchy, oscillating synth riff, pretty light bass, and Andrew's most upfront vocal delivery so far on the album. It certainly isn't the bangers that helped put Andrew on the map and got him a bunch of radio success, but this is probably the closest the album gets to that rejuvenating pop bliss that I know him for, and that's always some extra brownie points for me. Amazing song. And the sixth and final single, Pretending, is another amazing album highlight. It's an extremely poppy ballad in that it's certainly slow and emotional, but has an undertone of a solid groove and vibe underneath. The piano work across the song is gorgeous, especially on the minimal, whispery bridge, yet again another flawless bridge on the album. There's some light synthetic beeping across the track, only adding to the pop nuance of the song, but still the piano is the dominant force when the hidden rattling and percussion exposes themselves after the second chorus. But of course, with Andrew being a more soft vocalist than the average pop star, he soars with flying colors when it comes to ballads like these, as he wistfully sings about how he's just pretending to be okay after this breakup, playing this facade up for his friends, but in reality, it's just been eating at him. Another amazing song. And now for the rest of the tracks. Ready for You is another slower track, but this one has much more of a pop flavoring than Pretending, but it certainly opens up in a very somber light. The rich, dense piano that continues for about the first half of the tune, leaving the strong sensation that it's going to be a stagnant ballad until the ticking percussion and bubbly bass gradually builds up from the first chorus to the second, letting the poppiness really blossom when the murky bass begins to build up for the second chorus to a stomping beat that is just so elegant and clean. The track has such a natural progression that is so easy to just get suckered into, and also undeniably features Andrew's loudest and most powerful vocal performance on the entire album, as he sings about how the former heartbreak he endured was all leading up to this moment with a new partner, getting him ready for them. Really like this one too. Back to Me has a perky, jumpy, almost tropical flair to it. It's lively and almost sounds juvenile with how upbeat it is. The synth work is very peppy, the bass hits are satisfying and work extremely well with the aforementioned synths, and the pitched vocal melody certainly works well when it's utilized, but I think my biggest issue here is that the track doesn't really have any progression, no real build-up, not even a breakdown really. The beat continues at about the same energy and volume for the entire runtime, except maybe, say, for the bass work that only shows up for the chorus. Andrew's vocals certainly work in the beat's favor though, sticking to his more soft tone, playing well with the light, sunny instrumental as he sings about reassuring this partner that he is in it for the long haul and how he's admittedly a little bit stunned that it's even happening in the first place. Pretty good tune here, although not really one of my favorites though. This one has a surprising amount of intensity scattered throughout it, and it really helps to stand as an album highlight. The main groove is pretty simple, the pounding percussion brings a good amount of energy and power to the beat, while the guitar and soft piano help to keep the melody pretty strong. But what really helps this track is the work of the strings, especially later on in the song around the second chorus. It helps to make the song feel so much more grand and is a pleasant change from the light indie pop that the rest of the album has brought so far. Andrew's vocals don't really amp up much to match the increasingly fervent beat, however he still manages to convey a lot of emotion as he sings about finally finding a strong love and knowing right away that this one is for real. Very good song here. Unhear is the tried and true ballad on the album, and my god, this one really hit me. I feel like going through this album I haven't expressed the songwriting enough, but Andrew really knows how to properly write a good song. And sure, while he can come up short like the aforementioned My Friends, his knack for a sticky hook and engaging content is very impressive, and can really play both sides of the emotional coin. But this one may just be his crowning achievement in terms of writing, and sings with so much conviction and pain about how manipulative this ex-partner was, and all the words and strain are just forever painted in his psyche. He can't unhear it. Couple that with some of the most tear-jerking piano work on the record and some melancholic strings, you've got a real gut punch of a song. One of the best here. And finally, the closer, How I See It, the longest track on the album, just over 4.5 minutes, finishes the album strong on a comforting note, just being a purely acoustic track. The intimate plucking of the guitar is very serene and tender, like I'm listening to Andrew playing directly to me, and he sings as such. I swear, his ability to convey so much feeling and spirit behind his music is so good, and this track is a prime example of that. Plus, this song may have one of the most heavenly bridges I've heard in a while. The cooing is so beautiful and is such a perfect way to cap off the album, as Andrew sings about seeing the world in the best light possible, not dwelling in the past and enjoying this blessing that is life. Great way to close the album. Overall, this Andrew Allen album is actually pretty damn great. Sure, it may not be the most adventurous pop album out there, but it still has its fair share of catchy melodies, captivating vocal work and surefire ballads, and an amazing perspective on songwriting that really shouldn't go overlooked. Sure, there were a few flops scattered in the tracklist in my opinion, but the vast majority of this was some enjoyable, quaint indie pop that I'm sure could put a smile or tear in the ballad's case into anyone. I'm feeling a 7.5 out of 10 on this album. Well, guys, hope you enjoyed that review. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace!